Now, ever since the ending of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, a question has been coming in my mind that I believe a lot of other people do have as well, and that's, will they be able to have a Walking Dead crossover series in the future? And of course, this was teased by Scott Gimple. This wasn't necessarily confirmed, but it was teased. And now with the ending of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live being like closing the book on Rick Grimes' story with him coming back, it does raise some questions that if they're even building up towards a crossover. So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get to the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. And we have a goal in mind for 5,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to be part of that journey to 5,000 subscribers, please like, share, and subscribe. And we have a goal in mind for this video. If this video reaches 1,000 likes, I'll do something very special for the anniversary of my channel, which is next week, Sunday, May 5th. So if you guys want to show your support, please like the video. But other than that, let's get right into the video. And now, with the ending of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, as we all know, Rick Grimes did go back home and he was able to reunite with his kids. And I believe that that was something that we did not expect. I mean, of course, there might have been leaks behind the scenes and stuff like that, but other than that, like, just like people just like taking guesses of the show, and you know, with the teases of season 2 and as crossover and all of that, and just all of these little subtle hints that they had in the other crossovers, such as Daryl Dixon and also season 11 of The Walking Dead, we did not expect the CRM to fall so fast. And I don't want to go into a whole rant here, but that's what mainly made me disappointed in the ending of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, and just this whole show in general. And it's that they did not show the full scale and scope of the CRM and how easily they took down the CRM, because Rick and Michonne, they got together, right, and in 6 episodes they took down the biggest threat of the Walking Dead universe, just 2 of them on their own. And it's just to prove a whole point that, oh yeah, you know, 2 of these characters are together, they could do anything and they could take down anyone. And like, that's what really made me dissatisfied. It's because the CRM has been built up since season 8 of The Walking Dead. They've been looming in the shadows for so long in Fear the Walking Dead, season 9 of The Walking Dead, World Beyond, and just so many other connections that like really did hint at the CRM's existence in the bigger picture and like a potential crossover series. And yeah, like now with them taking down Major General Beale and the CRM, and them like quote unquote changing the CRM, it really does put into question, will there still be a crossover series that we've all been waiting for and dreaming for? And I think that the ending of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live really made the chances of that lower, in my opinion. And that's because Major General Beale was built up as a Thanos-like villain. He was built up to be the big threat of the Walking Dead universe. And the CRM were built up to be the biggest threat of the Walking Dead universe, and we all did assume that the CRM was that way to have this crossover series, and they did have a full opportunity. They had a full opportunity just to not kill off Major General Beale or to not kill off Jadis and make her the big bad. But with these characters dead, and with them having a happy ending in The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, it really does raise that question to how are they still going to have that crossover series. And there are a few ways that they could do this, right? With Pamela Milton still being alive and in prison in the Commonwealth, maybe they could find some way to get her out and to make her the big bad of the Walking Dead universe. But again, to make her the big bad, or to make anyone the big bad, you need power. And how do you get power in the Walking Dead universe? You got to be the head of the CRM, or you got to have something to do with the CRM. And that's as much as I see it, right? Because like, again, like they could show like some bigger threat, they could show like some bigger community, or they could show like some other big horde or something like that. But the CRM were built up to be the main villains. They were built up to be a way to bring all these characters together. So if Pamela Milton does get out of prison, if she does manage to get out and to be a bigger threat, she needs to take over the CRM again. And of course the CRM do exist, right? Like the Civic Republic military, they did turn good, quote unquote. And we don't know if that's permanent, or if that's like the last time we're going to be seeing the CRM, and if that's the last time that the CRM is ever going to be a threat. But like, in my opinion, what they should do is that they should make somebody else take over the CRM, such as Pamela Milton or Major General Beale's son. And I think that that's the only way that they could revive this whole CRM storyline. In my opinion, I really wanted Major General Beale to be the main villain, right? Because, like, again, his acting was amazing in The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, and Major General Beale did not have that many scenes, which again left me disappointed. And I really did hope that this show had a season 2 to build up Major General Beale more, to give him more character development, because again, he was teased in World Beyond, but they did not do anything of that. Like how I mentioned in my previous video with Lance Hornsby teasing a bigger threat on like another community coming for the Commonwealth if he died, there was no payoff for that. And also Major General Beale's build up in World Beyond, and also just his whole presence in The Ones Who Live, had no payoff whatsoever, because Rick was able to kill him so fast and so easily, just in a few minutes time. And of course, the other characters do have their spin-offs, right? So for example, Daryl still has his spin-offs, and that's going to be going on for a couple of seasons. Dead City is shooting its season 2 right now. Negan and Maggie are going to be back. And so there is still more to the Walking Dead universe, and they could find some way to bring all these characters together, but without the CRM and without that big looming threat over them. The only way I could see a reunion is at the end of their shows. For example, at the end of Daryl Dixon, whenever that's going to be, Daryl just comes back to Alexandria and he meets Rick, they hug it out, and then the end from there. Daryl has his happy ending as well. Negan and Maggie, they come back to Alexandria and they meet Rick. That's the only way I could see them having that reunion, but again, like how I mentioned before, without the CRM, I don't see them, joining forces and going up against a bigger threat, because that bigger threat is already gone. And the only way to bring that back, like how I mentioned before, is to have somebody else taking over the CRM. And like, of course, we don't know what they have planned for the Walking Dead universe, because again, it's the Walking Dead universe. It's a universe, and the way that universes work in media, such as movies and TV shows, is that each character or each like series has its own show or movie, and then they get built up for like a bigger purpose, like a bigger event, and then all these characters come together and they face a bigger threat, of course. And we thought that the CRM was that. So we thought that they were going to build this up like how the MCU did with Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, but they did not do that. And this could be some sort of fake out, right? They could have some other bigger threat planned out for the Walking Dead universe, because again, the Walking Dead universe was announced in season 11 of The Walking Dead. I mean, of course, we did know that the characters were going to have their spin-offs, but the Walking Dead universe was officially name dropped during the ending of season 11 of The Walking Dead. And The Ones Who Live really does seem like an ending to a universe, right? I mean, if they kept an ending like that for the end of the Walking Dead universe, like in a crossover series or something like that, if they had an ending like that in whatever big event they were going to do, then yeah, sure, this sort of ending is good, right? A happy ending with Rick reuniting with his kids, coming back home, and just a peaceful, nice ending, right? That is really good for a big crossover series, or like, at the end of like a season 3 of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, then sure. But in 6 episodes, having the biggest threat of the Walking Dead universe being taken down just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. But I do have another idea in my mind of how they could bring all these characters together for a potential crossover series, because I do still think that there is potential in this. One of the ideas is that maybe somebody else takes over the CRM, such as Pamela Milton or Major General Beale's son. Or another way that they could bring all these characters together for a big crossover event is that if they go back to the roots of The Walking Dead. And what do I mean by that? So in The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, Major General Beale did mention that there are big hordes that are in huge numbers, and humanity has about 14 more years to live. And if these hordes go on, and if resources get more scarce, then it's about 14 years. So the idea I came up with for a potential crossover series is that what if all these characters come together to take down these huge hordes, right? Maybe one of those hordes are coming for the Commonwealth, right? So you could have that military side of The Walking Dead with the Commonwealth Army, and you could have a big scale event with a bunch of walkers and all these characters coming together. I think that would be another way to bring all these characters together, and just go back to the roots of The Walking Dead, being a celebration of the series with a huge horde of walkers with some character deaths, right? Because again, with Daryl Dixon and with Dead City, I believe that the ending of these shows are going to be like the endings of their character arcs, right? So for example, Daryl is going to go look for Rick, and he's going to, develop more as a character. He's going to learn how to be better, and by the end of it, he finally finds Rick. He finally reunites with Rick, right? That is the conclusion to Daryl's personal character arc. Negan and Maggie, I think, is the most interesting case, is that in the end of Dead City, right, if they don't plan on season 3 or if they don't plan on season 4, if this show ends with season 2, maybe if Negan does not end up dying, right, the whole character development, the whole character arc of Negan and Maggie is that they hate each other. So by the end of their character arc could be that maybe Maggie learns to forgive Negan, and she learns to forget everything, right? And I know that a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but this whole Negan and Maggie rivalry is getting a little stale. So I think that the only way to make things fresh and to like leave this whole storyline behind is that if Maggie does learn to forgive Negan, right? That's the ending to Maggie's character arc. And with Negan being forgiven, right, that's also the ending to Negan's character arc, right? So because, like, again, like, since season 9 of The Walking Dead, that's been Negan and Maggie's whole character arcs, is that they hate each other. Negan is trying to be a better person, where Maggie is not accepting it, and Maggie is not forgiving him. So by the end of Dead City, that could be the end of both of their character arcs, and they finally go back to Alexandria, right? That would be a good ending to Dead City. And now, with all of these characters having their personal character arcs done, a good way would be to, like, have their new character development, right? Have them as new people being all together, right? Rick and Michonne, they had their character arc conclude, right? Michonne's character arc was to go look for Rick, and Rick's was to come back home. So again, like in The Ones Who Live, we already saw them having their ending. Daryl could have an ending to going back to Alexandria. Negan and Maggie could have an ending where they don't hate the guts out of each other. So in the crossover series, all these characters could be together, and they could just have one motive instead of like a lot of character development, right? And again, like in stories, character development is important, right? So again, like maybe do not fully complete their character arcs and make them develop more in the crossover series together, right? Have a whole Walking Dead season 12 and having these characters be like a family going up against the big horde or whatever bigger threat. But again, like you gotta have these character arcs that have been going on for years to conclude and make way for a new character arc. So such as like Rick could have a new character arc of being the leader of a huge group like the Commonwealth, right? Rick could be the leader of the Commonwealth, and he could be the head of the army, right? That could be a great character arc for Rick, because again, like Rick Grimes is a leader, and with The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, Rick learned to become a soldier. He got military training over the years. So he could be a better version of Major General Beale, where Major General Beale had a whole twisted idea of surviving and saving people. Maybe Rick is like Major General Beale, but he's not twisted, right? He's just the Rick Grimes we know, but with military experience. And on top of that, he might be the head of the Commonwealth Army. He could make the Commonwealth Army better, right? That is the sort of thing I'm talking about, right? Characters having new character developments, new character arcs, but just put them in the crossover series so we could have moments of all these characters together. That is just what I'm thinking. But yeah, do I think that there's going to be a crossover event or crossover series? I personally do think that there is room for that, right? Even though the ending of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, did seem like a real ending to the Walking Dead universe and just Rick Grimes' story, I do think that they could come up with some new storyline to bring all these characters together, because it is so demanded, and it looks like the spin-offs and just the Walking Dead universe, right? Just the name itself, it does look like that all these characters are going to be coming together and reuniting. And so personally, I think that if they want to keep this universe alive, they make a crossover series. And there are ways that you can make a crossover series out of the Walking Dead universe. It has so much potential. But on the other hand, with the CRM gone, I think that it's pretty hard. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. And we have a goal in mind for 5,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to be part of that journey to 5,000 subscribers, please like, share, and subscribe. And we have a personal goal for this video. If this video reaches 1,000 likes before Sunday, May 5th, I'll do something new and really special for this channel. So if you guys want to show your support, please hit that like button. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.